Hello and welcome to Route 99. My name is Raj Thakkar. We're discussing another RC from CAT 2024 paper. Today we have slot 3, RC1. The RC is about Moutai. What is Moutai? Let's find out by reading the RC. Okay, Moutai has been the global booze sensation of the decade. A bottle of its Flying Fairy, which sold in the 1980s for the equivalent of $1, now retail for $400. Mautai's listed share have soared by almost 600% in the past 5 years, outspacing the likes of Amazon. So there is this booze company, Mautai, which is performing very well, and its stock has outperformed even Amazon's share. Correct? It does this while disregarding every Western marketing mantra. Okay, so it goes against the norm. It goes against the norms of Western marketing. It is not global, has meager digital sales and does not appeal to millennials. Okay, so maybe this is all what is considered necessary in Western marketing. That it should have digital sales. It should appeal to the millennials. So it goes totally against what is considered to be ideal in the Western marketing. It scores pitifully on environmental and social and governance measures. So this is also maybe one of the requirement prerequisite of Western marketing. In the Boy Scout world of Western business, it would leave a bad taste in more ways than one. Okay, so in all the avenues, this would fall below standards of Western business. Moutai owes its intoxicating success to three factors. What are these three factors which have led to the success of Moutai? Not all of them easy to evaluate. First, its profit from Chinese nationalism. Okay, this is one of the reasons. Chinese nationalism is one of the reasons. Let me just highlight it. Moutai is known as the national liquor. It was used to raise the spirits and disinfect wound in Mao's Long March. This is okay. So there is some nationalist appeal to the booze Moutai. So that is one of the reasons of its success. It was Premier Zhou Enlai's favorite tipple shared with Richard Nixon in 1972. Now they are quoting about some famous personality whose favorite drink was this Moutai. Correct? It's centuries old craftsmanship. It is distilled 8 times and stored for years in earthenware jars. Is a source of national pride. Again, they're talking about how nationalism has played a role in Mautai's success. It also claims to be hangover proof, which would make it an invitation to rival gunpowder. So maybe rival gunpowder does not cause hangover, and that is why it is acting as a hangover proof rival to gunpowder. Correct? Second, okay, they are talking about the second reason. They are done with the first reason. Chinese nationalism has been talked about. Now we're talking about the second reason of its success. Second, it chose to serve China's super rich. Okay, China's super rich rather than its middle class. Markets are littered with corpses of firms that could not compete in the cutthroat battle for Chinese middle class wallets. Okay, we can say that the Chinese middle class market is quite difficult. Okay, because there are various companies who failed to grab that market, and the country's premium market is massive at 73 m strong, bigger than the population of France, notes Ewan McLeish of Bernstein. What is Bernstein? An investment firm, and still less crowded with prestige brands than advanced economies. So there is a cutthroat competition in the China's middle class market, but it also has a very big premium market. It has something 73 million strong premium market, which is bigger than the population of various countries like France. And who noted this? This investment banker, or maybe some employee from Bernstein. Okay, but despite this big opportunity, the market has very less players. Correct? It is still less crowded. So maybe that is one of the reasons Moutai is a success, because Moutai is one of the player in this market, in this big market where there aren't enough players. More ties to these well-heeled drinkers what vintage champagne is to the rest of the world. So for these rich people in China, Mortai is equivalent of champagne. Champagne for the rest of the world. Correct? Let's move on to the next paragraph. Now they're talking about the third reason for Mortai's success. Mortai looks beyond affluent millennials and digital natives, the elderly and the middle-aged. It found can be just as lucrative. The elderly and middle-aged, it found, can be just as lucrative. So Mortai believes that elderly and middle-aged people can be just as lucrative. They can give you just as much amount of sales as the millennials would do. Correct. So it has very its consumer base has very less millennials and digital natives. Rather, its target audience is elderly and middle-aged people. Its biggest market is now male drinkers in their mid-30s. Many have no siblings thanks to 4 decades of China's one-child policy, which also means their elderly parents can splash out on weddings and banquets. So, what is the major customer base of Mortai? 30 year mid-30s people who has no siblings because of China's one-child policy for the longest time. So they have no siblings, so their parents can afford to spend all their money on their one child. Correct. Mortai is often a guest of honor. So Mortai is used as a guest of honor in weddings, maybe. Correct. So this is one of the reason of Mortai's success. Its large customer base in elderly and middle-aged people. Mortai has succeeded thanks to nationalism, elitism, and ageism. Now it has summed it up. All of it. The first reason we discussed nationalism, second it sells to the rich, elitism, and the third it sells to a specific age group, elderly and middle age. So it has summed up all 3 reasons. In other words, not in spite of this unholy trinity. Why unholy trinity? Because it says that it goes against all the what do we call it? All the standards of Western marketing mantra. Again, right? That is why they started mentioning. Like first they said that disregard every Western marketing mantra. Then it started discussing how it does. So this unholy trinity is what is totally against that Western marketing mantra. Correct? That is why this is an unholy trinity, because this would go totally against the standards of Western marketing. But it faces risk. The government is its biggest shareholder and a meddlesome one. But it has some problems as well. Why? Because government is a very big stakeholder in the firm, and it is a meddlesome one because maybe it intervenes in the workings of the firm. It appears to want prices to remain stable, exorbitantly priced booze at odds with its professed socialist ideals. So the government want the booze to be costly. Why? Because it aligns with the socialist needs. Yet minority investors, including many foreign funds, lament that Mortai's wholesale price is a third of what it sells for in shop. Raising it could boost the company's profits further. But the other investors, other than the government, believe that the price can still be increased to raise company's profit, because the wholesale price is 1/3 of what it sells for in the shop, in the retail. Sees as a travesty of corporate governments, its major owner has plans to set up its own sales channels. In the long run, its biggest risk may be millennials. Why millennials? Because at some point these people will die. So who would be the next customer base? They're millennials, but they have no connect with the millennials. So in the long run, the brand may die. As they grow older, health concerns, work-life balance, and desires for more wholesome pursuits than binge drinking may curb the Gen B toasting culture, which is heavy drinking, on which so much of the demand for Mortai rests. For time being, though, the party goes on. Correct. So the whole passage talks about one thing, and it talks about Mortai, and then it talks about 3 reasons why it's successful. That's the basic outline of the passage. Okay. It talks about Mortai, and there's 3 reasons for success. What were those 3 reasons? Nationalism, elitism, and ageism. And at last it talks about why it is a problem for the company, because at some point of time its present audience might die and it would be left with millennials which it has no connect with. So this is a problem for the brand in the long run. Okay, let's move on to the questions. The phrase would make it an invention to rival gunpowder has been used in the passage in the sense that it is literal. No, it is not a literal comparison. So gunpowder does not cause hangover. Correct? It is not a literal comparison between the two. Correct? Rather, it is a what do we call, a metaphorical comparison. Like you say, like you say, the man became rock. So it did not actually become rock. Likewise, the comparison between it being a rival to gunpowder, it's not an actual comparison. Rather, it is a metaphor. Correct. So hence the answer is metaphorical. Which one of the following is both a reason for Mortai's success as well as possible threat to the success? Okay. It appeals to the rich, so it is just a reason for his success. How come it can be a reason? It can be a possible threat for the company. So this is not our answer. Chinese love of liquor field celebration. So yes, it is a reason for success, as mentioned in the last paragraph. Heavy drinking. Why it works? Because of its heavy drinking culture. So it is a reason of success, but it is not a reason of worry. It is not a reason to worry. Threat to nahi hai. Government involvements in his business. So it is surely a threat to the company, but is it a reason for success? So the answer is no. The first one, however, it appeals to the older age group. Yes, it is a reason for his success. Ageism was a reason for his success. But at the same time, if this keeps on going, if this remains his audience, millennials and mid-30 people, there would come a time that they would all die and this audience would die. And in the long run, that would act as a threat to the company. Hence, this is our correct option. This is both a reason for success and as well as a possible threat. In the context of the passage, we can infer that to succeed in the liquor industry in China, a marketing firm must consider all of the following factors affecting the Chinese liquor market, except that the competition for winning over the middle class is very stiff. Yes, it should consider it. So, as mentioned here, that the middle class market is very difficult. Correct. So it has to, if a person is starting out in the Chinese market, so it must consider as middle class. Correct. There is money to be made from marketing to the middle class. Why he should consider that? This is very obvious. Why should we consider while he's planning out his marketing activities? He should consider that the market is very stiff. But should he consider that there is money to be made? That is very obvious. Let's read out the other option. There are few competitors to meet the demands of high-end liquor consumers. Yes, there is a very big market in that premium segment. It should consider it. The government may control the pricing of the products. Yeah, this also should be considered. Correct. But only the second option does not make sense here. Hence our correct option is second. Okay, let's move on to the next question. In the context of the passage, it is most likely that the author refers to Mortai's marketing strategy. Okay, have I missed a question? Okay. Mortai's marketing strategy is unholy trinity because there is nothing holy about the marketing techniques for liquor. How can you say that there is nothing holy about marketing techniques of liquor? Correct. Has author ever been critical of liquor? So the answer is no. It contradicts the Western strategy of marketing. Yes, this sounds like our answer. As I explained earlier, that first they discussed that why Mortai's marketing strategies goes against all the standards of Western marketing. Then they started discussing what is marketing strategies. Then they discussed 3 points and then they called it an unholy trinity. So that established that Just because it goes against the Western strategy of marketing, it is an unholy trinity. Hence, the answer is second. Let's eliminate the rest of the two options. It exposes the firm to long-term risk. Okay. Why would I call it an unholy trinity? Because it exposes the firm to long-term risk, and that happened in the case of Motai. It might not happen in the case of other firms. How can I be sure about other firm that this is a formula for failure? This unholy trinity is a formula for failure. It cannot comment on that on the basis of this passage. This is not an option. It profits from Chinese nationalist feeling. This again is a very far-fetched option, irrelevant, never mentioned in the passage. Correct. Hence, the correct option is second. Okay, that was the RC guy. RC guys, thank you for being with me till the last of this video. I'll see you in the next one. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.